Sweet. So, I mean, you've got a wall of one wheels behind you.
Oh yeah,
That's fun.
yeah. So that's
And
that's the fleet right there. Got my one
yeah,
wheels and my electric unicycle.
I think, yeah, my friend Christoph's back here. I think we've got four in here right now, except for,
I'm Jimmy Chang, and today I've got Jesse Driftwood here with me. If you don't know who Jesse Driftwood is, you've probably at least seen some videos of him riding the one wheel. He was one of the first people to get to test ride the Pint before it was actually unveiled. He also has a very popular video, one of the big videos on the one wheel on YouTube called Is the One Wheel Worth $1,800? And so I'm sure you've
yeah.
seen him. He is a big time YouTuber. He's got 75,000 or so YouTube subscribers. He has on his Instagram, which is where he started, 133,000 followers. And your goal is to empower creators to create. So welcome
Yeah.
to the show, Jesse. Is there anything you would add to that
No, I mean,
introduction?
I usually tell people it's like I'm a photographer, filmmaker, fun haver, family guy. I can't think of any other sounding things. But no, I mean, most of what I do professionally is filmmaking, specifically in the internet sphere. I make a lot of internet videos.
I'm seeing Christoph working hard back there. You said it was
Yeah.
for some traveling camera.
Yeah, he's building this camera cart, but it'll also just collapse into a road case for travel.
You mentioned travel. Let's say you were to do a road trip. What would you take with you for your fun having
Oh
and
my goodness,
your
that's a great.
video
Yeah,
making? Let's say you could only bring three things with you. What three things would those be?
easy. I bring this. This is the Canon EOS R and 24 to 105. Super handy. I can do basically anything with it.
Okay.
I would definitely bring the One Wheel XR.
All right.
And a third thing, oh, music. I'd bring my phone for music.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Music.
I, can I also bring my family?
You can, yes, you can bring your
Did I
family.
just shut them out? Sorry, wife, daughter, son.
Good.
Uh,
No, you're a good man. But okay, I was looking for the one wheel though, and
oh, without a doubt.
so tell me your start with the one wheel. How did you get started with this whole one wheel thing?
I mean, first of all, I'm an avid crowdfunding backer. I really like backing Kickstarters. I think currently I win for 5 different products to arrive from Kickstarters.
Okay.
I grew up loving infomercials. As like a child, I was like, Miracle Blade 3, what? You can cut through a leather boot. But when I was a kid, I could never buy those things. And so now that I'm adult, when they show up on Kickstarter, I'm like, I'm going to buy it. I remember the one wheel getting announced on Kickstarter, and I thought it was so cool. But also at that point, I definitely couldn't afford one. I wasn't in a place in my career. And then the One Wheel Plus came out, and I had a couple friends that ended up buying them. And I was like, I had been saving at that point, actually, for a little while to buy some sort of electric device, basically for commuting to and from my studio for work. And then I got to ride one of my friend's one wheel. And my first time on it, I was like, this is amazing. I felt so comfortable on it right away, which is why I bailed and broke my collarbone. But even then, in the hospital, they're getting x-rays. I'm like, how do I afford one of these? But I had been saving at that point for what I thought would be a boosted board. But it was like instant for me. I was like, no, I'm getting a one wheel. Definitely I'm getting a one wheel. So I bought a One Wheel Plus and have been riding it basically daily since, putting on thousands of kilometers. It has only gotten more fun every single day that I've owned it. I think that's something that's very unlike most products. So camera gear is a great example. You start thinking you want a new camera, you want a new lens, and you obsess over it, right? You watch every YouTube review. It's all amazing. You're like, I need it. And then eventually you get it. And the magic kind of wears off once you have it.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes part of whatever. And then you think of the next thing you want to buy.
Sure.
The one wheel for me, that magic has never worn off. It's only gotten more fun because you get more comfortable on it. You want to start learning how to go down curbs or take trails. All these sorts of things have just made it a real everyday essential for me because it's everything for me. It's the way I commute, but it's also how I spend my fun time. I'm really excited for the Pint because it's going to be fun to ride around in the studio, and for teaching people things like simple stop, I think is going to be, because right now people get on and they're like, how do you get off? I'm like, just 2-foot jump for now. I'll teach you the heel thing, but it's a bit awkward to learn. I think just having people, you're either going or you're getting off, will be really helpful in the learning stages. I would never ride with it on, but to teach people will be great. But the thing about the Pint and the Plus is because of the range, I treat them like they're calculated. This is the ride I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go. I know how, if I can get there or not. The XR, though, for me, I actually discovered new areas of my city that I didn't know existed because I was just riding and I wasn't worried about the range. I'm like, what is up that hill? So I was like, why not go check? And then I get up the hill. I'm like, oh, there's a trail over here. Why not get on the trail? And I spent like an extra hour just discovering a neighborhood I didn't even know we had. Then it's a way I would never have taken the Plus or now the Pint. I'm actually, it's kind of exciting to see that Onewheel is having a bit of a day in the sun, so to speak, because for the longest time, because of people like Casey, the boosted board was the thing for a YouTuber to have. But I personally much prefer the ride experience of a remoteless, go anywhere, turn on a dime, drop down curbs, that kind of thing, go off road on the grass. I think all those things just make it way more fun.
Do you think you'll be able to get your wife on the Pint consistently?
I mean, the thing is, I ride around in the city so much, she would not want to do that. She's not terribly, I don't want to say adventurous because that comes across as somewhat rude, but in the extreme sports realm, just no interest for her.
One of my hopes is to eventually have my wife on a Onewheel, joining me on some of my videos. But until that day comes, I can just continue to hope. There are one-wheelers that do YouTube. Like, in that category, I would include Sly Dog Stro, the Float Life folks, and myself. And then there are YouTubers that one-wheel. And in that category, I would put you, Cody Warner, Maddie H, Casey Neistat, Potato Jet. These are YouTubers that ride the one-wheel. You have had the opportunity to rub shoulders with these guys, study these guys, and grow together with these guys. What trait do you think sets you guys apart from everyone else that's trying to make it on social media?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. One of the biggest ones, I think, like a lot of the names that you mentioned, people like Peter McKinnon, Matty Hapoya, Gene, Potato Jet, myself, I'm trying to think of even some of these other ones. Casey would be the same example, which is that we all actually come from a filmmaking background before jumping into the YouTube space. So we have a bit of an unfair advantage, which is that professionally we have experience creating video and thinking about, okay, what do people want to watch? What holds attention? What doesn't hold attention? How long can you show various things? How long can you talk for without people losing interest? That kind of stuff.
What would you recommend to noobs like myself to this YouTube, Instagram sphere? I mean, obviously we can't go to film school, or most of us can't. But what would you recommend? Watch your videos? Well,
maybe you can. I put the occasional tutorial up, but I think you're even a great example of someone who's doing it right, which is that you may not come from the filmmaking sphere, but you're super consistent. You're still putting a lot of videos out there. You're imparting your voice into it. Consistency is key. And I don't mean consistency in uploading for the sake of growth, but just for personal growth, right? Being consistent, practicing. It's not unlike riding a one-wheel, in fact, which is that, sure, some people get on it and they're already good. Maybe they have a history of surfing, snowboarding, all that. And some people get on it and they're a little bit rocky. They got that jitters. Sure. But everyone gets better the longer they do it. The more hours they put in, you really have no choice but to improve. Some people are going to improve really quickly. Some people are going to improve slowly. But the important thing is, if it's a thing you want to do and if it's a thing you want to stick at, you've just got to stick at it for a long time. It can be a long, slow climb. I look at my videos even just a few years ago, and it's like, oof, do not like those. But at the time, I was probably psyched because at that time, I was looking at videos from a few years before that thinking, oof, don't like those.
For sure. I love that one-wheel analogy because it's just like the one-wheel or anything in life, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And the better you get at it, the more you'll enjoy it. A few months ago, my videos, I look back, I'm like, wow, that was pretty crappy. But I learn, each time I learn something new, something different. And I feel like I'm constantly improving, which makes it more fun. And I just want to do it more and more. And so this little thing that just started as a little hobby has kind of become a little obsession, my wife would tell me.
Yeah, for sure. Filmmaking is very much like that. There's never been a project for me where front to back, I was like, everything went according to plan and it was great. Everything, there's something you're going to screw up big time. There's something you're going to wish you had done differently. There's some piece of gear you forgot or whatever. But what's great about that is every project you have one extra bit of experience to bring forward with you to like help you solve those problems to make your videos more interesting.
One of the big hurdles that I've had to overcome is just wanting everything to be perfect. I feel like I need this video to be perfect. I need the perfect angle.
Yeah.
I need the perfect monologue or dialogue, voiceover.
Yeah.
And sometimes that pursuit of perfection paralyzes me or keeps me from actually releasing my work out there.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that?
I think there's a season to focus on your quantity and there's a season to focus on your quality.
Okay.
Because the quantity in my mind it's that body of work behind you, right? That helps you build the quality eventually, because no one's first video is going to be quality, right?
For sure.
And your second video probably won't be quality. Your third video probably won't be quality. But as you build them up, you can at least start to see hints, little glimmers of quality in your video. I think people find it really inspiring to see your growth be public. For someone to go to your YouTube channel, sort it by oldest, and then watch those first videos.
Yeah.
I think that actually is quite a freeing experience when you see someone whose quality, let's take MKBHD as an example.
Okay.
You go to his oldest video and he's like a 14-year-old kid. The quality is atrocious.
Yeah.
And then you look at him now and he's the pinnacle of quality and success on YouTube. I think seeing that helps people to feel okay with getting something out there, even if it's not as good as they want it to be. Maybe you want it to be present day MKBHD good, but it currently looks like 8 years ago MKBHD. Yeah. But that's not an excuse to give up, certainly.
That's the other thing. It can be discouraging to see when I look at your channel and I look where you are and I compare myself to you, I say, wow, look at how great Jesse is. Look at his videos. Look at all these followers. I wish I could be just like him. That's right. But there's no way I'm going to do it, But what I'm not seeing is the grind and the work that you've put into it. One of the things that you've really utilized, though, is Instagram stories. And that's something that we can't go back and look at.
Yes.
Why do you choose that? Or why did you choose that as a medium?
Yeah. As someone who was working in film, I was doing a lot of weddings at the time, corporate events, smaller commercial projects, that kind of thing. I got to a point where I just didn't like doing video anymore. I was so sick of just creating videos because someone was paying me to make it. I didn't make anything because I wanted to, and had to reevaluate, is this just a job for me or is it also a passion? And at that point, it felt like just a job. So I was writing down my priorities, and I was like, I want to have a consistent routine. I want to make sure I'm like home for kids' bedtime, like home in the morning, that kind of thing. I want to read more. I want to exercise more. Anyways, all those things. One of them that I put down was I want to do something creative every day. I want to make sure I'm working that creative muscle.
Sure.
And so when stories came out, it actually seemed like such a great exercise for me to let go of something that isn't perfect, because like you said, people can't go back and look at it, and it's only got a 24-hour lifespan. So it was very freeing for me to put up things that actually at the time were nowhere even near the quality that I was giving to clients. It was much worse than what I was used to doing, but that was fine for me because I was just doing it quick, and I was also practicing new techniques, new camera ways, new different ways of editing, that kind of thing, and just put it out there and then start again the next day.
You talked about breaking your clavicle. Have you had any other major injuries since?
Yeah, not major injuries. I've had two other like pretty good bails. One was going over some really rough train tracks. I had a huge backpack full of groceries, and it was just one of those things where it was so bumpy and I was hitting with good speed, a little overconfident. And then one time I was on a bike lane in the city, and this was also pretty early on to owning it, that overconfidence. I was going 34.4 kilometers an hour. So that's, how fast is that? Hey Siri, how fast is 34? It was going fast, and I had music in. I was dancing. I had just passed a cyclist. I was just like, this is, and I just nosedived. I tried to run it out, obviously. Yeah. And some people, when I tell them that story, they're like, they need to fix that. And I'm like, no, they don't. They can't fix that. It's like they could make it go faster, but had it been able to go 5 miles an hour faster, you can bet in that moment I would have been going 5 miles an hour faster, and I would have still reached the max, and I would have still overpowered the motor. It's just physics, right? At a certain point, the wheel can't go any faster to rebalance you, to pull itself back under you.
Sure.
So I don't blame the board at all. I blame my own overconfidence in the early days. Since then, I really haven't fallen.
Two truths and a lie. And with this, I'll go first. So my first one is the last Netflix show that I binged watched actually took place in Toronto, Canada, which is close to you. The second one is I once passed out while running the 400-meter dash during a track meet in high school, right in front of the cheerleaders. And then the third one is I've never broken a bone in my life.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting. Now that last one, the broken bone, I would have been able to tell you that until my one-wheel accident.
Yes, and I think you had a quote in one of your videos where you say, "I don't break bones" or something.
Yeah, yeah, I did say that to my wife.
But
that was actually after I broke that bone.
That's right.
Two truths and a lie. All right. I lived in a van for a period of my life. I have webbed toes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a true story. And then you'd be surprised how many feet things I've had in my life. And I also have a bit of coral reef stuck in one of my toes.
Jeff McCosker from The Float Life, since I did see you sporting some of his gear, I asked him if he'd do a giveaway for this video, and he said he would. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Check down in the comments, you guys, and in the comments we'll talk about how to do this giveaway.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually can't say it enough. I don't know who their merch supplier is, but it's top quality stuff. Their hoodies are so comfortable. In fact, my wife just got her own because she was always stealing mine, but they're way too big for her. So she was like, I need my own. They're so soft, and they have not been destroyed in the wash, and I don't know how to properly wash anything.